mingle on that ship and it suddenly explodes. Assalamualaikum, hello everyone, so welcome back to another video. If you guys are new here, I'm Aiza of Video Mom. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys my reads in November. In November, I have read 3,693 pages across 24 books. It sounds a little bit insane even for me. I have decided that every books that I read together with my son, I will mark it on Goodreads. Kids book, children books are books. If you are new to my channel, here's a playlist of my monthly wrap-up where I talk about every single books that I have read within the previous month, and I'm always late. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first book I read is Daisuki, Dear Mr. Mangaka, I Choose You, written by Ieyfahchan. So she's a debut author. I gave this book a 2 stars. Bukan sebab buku ni tak baik. Since ini adalah buku pertama yang Ieyfahchan keluarkan, ianya adalah percubaan yang sangat-sangat baik walaupun ada banyak plot holes. So basically pasal perempuan ni, aku suka karakter dia. Dia seorang yang bubbly dan dia adalah seorang pembaca buku yang tegar. So dia ada satu best friend ni, best friend dia lelaki. Korang dah boleh tangkap kan apa yang akan jadi dalam buku ni. Dan dia kehilangan kerja. Lepas tu best friend dia dapatkan kerja baru untuk dia, which is bekerja dekat perpustakaan. So dekat perpustakaan ni, dia terjumpalah Mr. Mangaka ni, opa-opa rupanya. Tengok. Korang pun mungkin dah boleh guess what's gonna happen. Tapi yang menariknya, aku suka bila dia bercerita tentang keadaan dalam perpustakaan tu, macam mana personality lelaki tu dan perempuan yang sangat jauh berbeza. Dan lelaki ni, Mr. Mangaka ni, dia ni sangat, he's a reserved person, keep to himself, tahu tak? Sebab kulit buku ni lah aku tertarik. So tengok, untuk peminat buku, untuk ulat buku, korang memanglah suka kan kulit buku bookish macam ni. Lagi-lagi watak utama dia, perempuan ni sangat suka membaca buku. Lepas tu lelaki ni mangaka. Mangaka ni adalah seorang pelukis komik kalau tak silap maksud dia. Korang akan macam ship dia orang. Aku rasa banyak lagi benda yang boleh diperbaiki, tapi jalan cerita dia memang best. Dan the best thing is Ieyfahchan ni dia lucu. Siap ada sebut nama sajat lagi. Siapa-siapa ada baca ni, aku nak tahu korang team best friend ke korang team dia Mr. Mangaka. Tak mahal pun ebook ni, RM3 je. The next book is Starry Night, Blurry Dream by Henn. I gave this a 3 stars. I think the only downside of this poetry book is it has like a lot of almost nudity or like half nudity, but that's not the main point here. So this is my very first like visual poetry ever. It doesn't have long sentences, it doesn't have that much words in it, but it has pictures that tell 1,000 stories. I think it's mind-blowing whenever there's some of the illustrations that really evokes the emotions in me. Sometimes you have to let all the pictures speak for themselves. I think that's how visual poetry works. Are you familiar with visual poetry books? Look at that. Let me read some of the poem for you guys. Like this one. I need a vacation in my life. I'm sorry about the lighting. So she's like leisuring in this glass of cocktail. Charge me up. There's a charger and there's heart. She was telling us that she needs a break in her life. Life is tiring. The next book is Cat and Cat Adventures, The Quest for Snacks by Susie. I gave this book 5 stars. I am a cat mommy, so I cannot possibly not like this book, and it's very, very adorable. So the main characters are obviously cats, Squash and Ginny. One day, when their owner left home for work, they found out that their snacks are finished. With the help of a magical portal, they embark on this quest to find all the ingredients to make this potion where they can create unlimited goodies, unlimited snacks. So they went to Mermaid Ocean where they met the catfish. It's very cute. And then they hop on a hot air balloon to go to a Mount Lava where there's lava dog. And then the last place that they went to get the ingredients is the Enchanted Forest. There's this bun fairy. When they reach this place, the last ingredients that they need, they found out that the forest has not been rained for quite some times, for years. They have to give up. And then there's something happen in that last place that I cannot tell you guys, otherwise I'll spoil the whole thing. Mommy, go get this book for your children. The next book is Perempuan Pengembara dan Sajak-Sajak Perjalanan oleh Nissa Yusof. Aku bagi ni 4 bintang. Mostly sebab aku rasa penulisan dia datang dari hati. Kadang-kadang kita susah nak tafsirkan maksud-maksud puisi, maksud-maksud sajak kan, sebab kita tak tahu apa yang bermain dalam kepala pemuisi, penyajak ni. Sedang mereka duduk dan melihat orang sekitar, melihat tempat-tempat kan. Salah satu perasaan yang terbit dari dalam hati aku bila aku baca ni, aku rasa macam nak pergi mengembara dan menulis. Tulis je lah apa-apa kan. Aku rasa seronok lah bila tengok nama-nama tempat yang penulis dah pergi, termasuklah negeri kelahiran aku sendiri, iaitu Sarawak. Sesekali pengembara perlu berjalan tanpa peta, lihat pada langit, baca wajah alam dan berhenti mentafsir keasingan. Gitu. The next book is Poison for Breakfast by Lemony Snicket. You guys probably know this author. He is the author of a series of unfortunate events. My son and I have watched the entire Netflix series, but I have yet to read the book. So I assume the book is much better than this one, because as I was reading the reviews, the comments from the readers, they are quite disappointed with this book. I can say that after 25% into this book, I feel like I am getting nowhere. It lacks of plots. What should I say about this book? It's like a recollection of books that Lemony Snicket have read or reread, or scraps of papers that he has written within all those years of his life and made it into this book. It's like more of a recipes for disaster rather than recipes for poisonous breakfast. You know, or you don't know, his style of writing is very whimsical and he is such a storyteller. But even though I said that he is such a one talented writer that can invent the world in the a series of unfortunate events, but unfortunately it doesn't do well with this one. I have read some of the reviews saying that they have waited for this book to be published since 2012. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say. But this is indeed hardest book this is the book that made me think, how much should I rate this? The next book is The Stranger in the Lifeboat by Mitch Albom. I rated this book 4 stars. This is a confession. I do not want this book to end even before I started reading it. I know, right? And I wasn't ready to get emotional, and I'm afraid to review or even rate this book because I can be highly biased because I love Mitch's writings. I literally have read all of his books. Let me read one quote from this book. Here it goes.
In the end, there is the sea and the land and the news that happens between them. To spread the news, we tell each other stories. Sometimes the stories are about survival, and sometimes the stories, like the presence of the Lord, are hard to believe unless believing is what makes them true.
It started when a deadly explosion of the most expensive ship ever built in the world. It carries a lot of important person like Bill Gates. That's just an example. They mingle on that ship and it suddenly explodes. And a lot of people died. Wait, how many people survived? I think it's 10 people. These people trying to survive on a lifeboat. The most important question of this book is, at the most needed time, when you ask for help, when you ask for God, what if he appeared in front of you and offer you help, but you need to believe him in all of your heart, like fully believe him, because some of them does not believe in God. That makes the whole situation hard. There's a lot of reflection, wisdom, quotes. Yeah, it's all about divine intervention when bad things happen to you. It's like fiction, religion kind of book, and I really like it. The next 4 books I read is buku Gaya Rasulullah ni. Aku bagi buku-buku ni 3 dan 4 bintang masing-masing. Dekat sini ada 200 tip memimpin Gaya Rasulullah, 200 tip keluarga bahagia Gaya Rasulullah, 200 tip rajin selawat, semoga mudah peroleh syafaat Nabi SAW. Dan kemudian 200 tip mudah dan rajin solat gaya Rasulullah SAW, ditulis oleh penulis yang berbeza. Secara asasnya, secara general, kenapa aku suka buku-buku ni? Satu, sebab ianya murah, bermula dari RM6.50 kalau tak silap, ataupun RM5. Kalau beli kat Shopee lebih murah, RM5 macam tu boleh dapat. Kecuali buku ni yang terakhir, RM10 untuk Semenanjung Sabah Sarawak, RM12. Dan buku ni agak tebal berbanding yang lain. Jadi apa yang aku suka adalah saiznya pocket, boleh bawa ke mana-mana. Kalau nak pergi dapur tengah memasak tu, boleh baca. 200 tip ni sangat-sangat membantu aku dalam pelbagai aspek dalam kehidupan berkaitan dengan agama lah. Rajin selawat ni banyaklah tips untuk kenapa kita perlu selawat, kepentingan selawat, selawat macam mana, selawat jenis apa yang kita perlu amalkan, dan kita perlu berlapang dada kalau ada selawat yang macam malam cerita Rasul kan, macam kasidah dan sebagainya. Kita tak sependapat, tak perlulah berbalah, dan ada yang menentang benda-benda tu. Sepatutnya kita berlapang dada lah. Kemudian 200 tip keluarga bahagia ni, tipsnya bermula daripada seawal pemilihan calon untuk dijadikan pasangan hidup. Kemudian macam mana nak mendidik anak, mendidik isteri, mendidik diri sebagai suami. So para suami, bakal-bakal suami kena baca. The next one is 200 tip memimpin. Ini pun kaum lelaki kena baca. Pemimpin ni bukan hanya pada lelaki. Kalau korang jadi majikan dekat tempat kerja dan korang adalah seorang wanita, korang kena tahu macam mana cara yang betul untuk memimpin. Kalau nak buat kawan sangat pekerja tu, nanti dia pijak kepala. Kalau kau sangat nak jadi bossy, dia orang tak nak dengar, lepas tu mogok dan sebagainya, kena baca yang ni. Dan sebaik-baik pemimpin dalam dunia ni adalah Rasulullah. Banyaklah cara memimpin yang Rasulullah dah tunjukkan dari dulu yang kita boleh amalkan. Dan terakhir ialah 200 tip mudah dan rajin solat. Tips ni merangkumi fadilat solat. Kenapa kita perlu solat, kenapa solat diwajibkan, macam mana sayangnya Rasulullah dengan kita bila baginda minta untuk menurunkan jumlah solat dalam sehari sampai 5 waktu. Dan Islam ni sangat-sangat mudah. Bila kita belajar, bila kita ada ilmu, insyaAllah kita akan faham yang walaupun dia mudah, kita tak boleh ambil enteng soal solat ni kan. Sebab solat ni adalah tiang agama. Yang pertama sekali Allah tanya bila kita dah masuk kubur nanti, solat ke tak? Jadi kalau nak tips yang berguna, bolehlah baca buku ni. Buku seterusnya adalah Bunian, Api Bukit Tengkorak oleh Sabrina Ismail. Aku bagi buku ni 3 bintang. Adalah plot hole sikit-sikit, tapi kebolehan Puan Sabrina untuk menulis, korang tak payah sangkal lah. Aku dah baca satu lagi buku dia, Boba Girl. Dia sangat pandai character building dengan characterization dia sangat on point dan sangat matang lah. Penulisan dia sangat matang. Dia ada satu idea yang bernas untuk mereka sebuah latar cerita yang berbeza daripada apa yang aku pernah baca sebelum ni. Dalam buku ni watak utamanya adalah Raid. Dia ni adalah seorang remaja yang berasal dari alam Bunian. Ada benda terjadi masa dia orang kecil dan keluarga Tuan Amir ni, iaitu bapa Daniel, ambil dia jadi anak angkat. Raid ni terkenal dengan perangai dia yang cemerkap, asyik terjatuh, asyik terluka, apa semua kan. Tapi dia adalah elit dari alam Bunian. Dan Daniel ni, adik-beradik angkat dia, terkenal sebagai seorang anak orang kaya yang suka bully pelajar dekat sekolah. Identiti Raid ni sebagai seorang yang sangat berpengaruh dan ada power daripada alam Bunian bakal terbongkar bila dia lakukan satu misi yang sangat besar dan penting untuk menyelamatkan hutan yang mereka sayangi. Tak disangka-sangka, projek untuk musnahkan hutan tu adalah dari orang yang dia sayangi. Mendebarkan. Dan aku suka cara Puan Sabrina tulis sampai aku boleh bayangkan macam mana sekolah dia orang, rupa hutan tu, macam mana seorang manusia ataupun seorang Bunian boleh pergi ke dunia mereka, apa portalnya. Korang kena baca. The next book is Discover the Best in Your Relationships, Life Coaching for Muslims by Sayeda, Habib. Question is, have you ever feel stuck in a relationship that you no longer want to be in for some reasons and you just don't know how to make the decision? You just don't know what to do. Maybe you want to fix it or anything. So Sayeda offers a general solution to mend a broken relationships, and it's not restricted for only for marriage. She offers a solution or tips to mend or to nurture your relationship with yourself, your children, your parents, the people around you. One of my most favorite section in this book is of course building a relationship or taking care of the relationship with yourself, myself. Sometimes we often forgot that we need to be well. If we love ourselves, then we will have this aura, these vibes for people to love us, to take care of us, and to appreciate us. And then there's a section for parenting as well. Being a children, they are very sensitive and emotional driven. To take care or tackle them, to get their love, their affection, for them to grow up healthy in terms of emotional, mentally, or even physically, we need to take care of their general well-beings. Throughout reading this, I got to know myself better. I have this sense of comfort when I read this book, because having this knowledge now, I know how to, take control of myself and the people around me in the best way possible. There's a quote here I want to share with you guys. When a parent understands what the child's emotional needs are and fulfills those emotional needs on a regular basis, then the child's behavior will improve, and training him or her for life will become a lot more enjoyable for both. So read this for more fulfilling relationships. The next book is Looking After the Ashes by Kopi. I gave this book 4 stars. I did not know that this is a semi-biographical fiction until I finished reading it. It is an easy read for me, but I do not want to finish it that early because I love the details. It also has some illustrations in it, like this one, hantu susu kalau orang Melayu sebut. This book has the right representation of a family that has many kinds of superstitions. It's not just the Chinese, even the Malays. I will get into that with you guys. This book is basically about a Penang Peranakan family story led by Sui Lian, the main character. Her family, especially the older women, have many kinds of superstitions, and they are following it like quite religiously. So Sui Lian and other kids in the family often gets lessons like daily life wisdoms and about the do's and don'ts. You cannot point to the moon lest your ear would be chopped off. And then all mirrors are to be covered when a family member just died, so that their soul won't turn into a ghost if they saw their reflections on the mirror. To sum it up, this book brought me down to memory lane where my maternal and paternal grandparents are still alive. Back then, they have a few type of superstitions, like you cannot just eat meat without eating the rice, lest your husband will having an affair. And then you cannot sing in the kitchen, or you will marry a much older guy. And don't sit in the middle of the staircase, or you will not get married. It has some humor in it. If you guys are not Asian, I highly recommend this book. If we have this knowledge about other people's superstition, maybe when we come to visit people's house, we can respect what they believed in. When I finished this book, it's like a warm feeling. The next book is Iban Woman by Golda Mowe. This is sequel to Iban Dream and Iban Journey. This two. I do not know what was going on my mind when I started reading this, when I have not read the second book, which is Iban Journey. And I just started this book and I'm around 100 pages in. I can tell you that it is compulsory to read Iban Dream first. Then it doesn't matter if you didn't read Iban Journey, but I think it has important backstories in it before getting into Iban Woman. I think Iban have to read this Iban series to get to know more of their own culture. In this third installment, we follow a woman named Ratai. She is the daughter of the great Nuing, and Nuing is the son of Bujang Mayas. Bujang Mayas is kind of legend. That's why you have to read the first book. Ratai is rather a warrior kind of woman rather than a woman that sits at home cooking and feeding the children. But she's not married at the beginning of the story. It's kind of against the mainstream, especially in Iban community in Rumah Panjang, long houses, to see a woman go fight, go become a headhunter. She's not your typical Indo or woman. she is much more than that. She wants to bring change to the community. She wants to empower and inspire all the women, even though she has to go through so many challenges, especially when the time where she needs to go to war to prove herself. Ratai was so in love with this man, but the man got murdered. She wants to avenge the death of her loved one. No woman from their village, from their long house, ever went for war. Never have they seen such brave woman like Ratai. I think this is listed as woman prize. It's very empowering reads. I wish not to spoil anything for you guys. I want to thank Golda Mowe for that satisfying ending. I really love the ending. Buku seterusnya adalah Aku Mahu Membaca 1000 Tahun Lagi oleh Iman Daniel Hakim. Aku bagi buku ni 3 bintang. Buku ni adalah tentang pengalaman peribadi beliau sendiri dalam mencintai buku. Cinta dia pada buku sangatlah mendalam, dan cara penyampaian dalam buku ni berbeza. Ada travelog, perkongsian pengalaman dia pergi ke tempat-tempat jual buku ke luar negara, especially dekat Indonesia bersama tim jejak terbiar sendiri. Pandangan beliau tentang dunia buku. Beliau turut memasukkan beberapa resensi buku yang telah beliau baca, termasuklah buku karya Hilal Ashraf, dan Hilal Ashraf ada menulis kata penghantar dalam buku ni. So apa yang aku rasa masa baca buku ni, dia bersifat relatable, tahu tak? Bila kau sangat suka buku, lepas tu penulis tu tulis pengalaman dan kecintaan dia terhadap buku dan pembacaan, kau rasa berteman. Ada orang yang sekepala lah dengan kau. Tapi dekat belakang ni dah ada rasa bosan sikit sebab resensi mungkin boleh baca dekat Goodreads je. Bagi korang yang belum lagi jatuh cinta pada buku dan tak faham kenapa adanya individu-individu yang sanggup habis ratusan, malahan ribuan ringgit semata-mata untuk beli buku, travel, pergi tempat-tempat yang ada perpustakaan yang besar, mewah dan unik. Korang kena baca buku ni dan insyaAllah korang boleh faham. The next book is The Coffee Trellis Daughters by Dreamcatchers Comic Zuan. This is book number 5 in Warm Heart series. One thing about this book, when it talks about Japanese occupation, it kind of brings me back when my grandma, she told us stories about Miri occupied by Japanese years before Malaysia got its independence. This story is so sweet and it brings such warm values and themes, which is a promise must be fulfilled, bravery, kindness, friendship and loyalty. I cannot stress it enough that every parents need to get all the books in the series because it has good messages for both children and parents. It follows Henn, a young boy working for the rich and kind family named Zhao. They grow up together with their daughter. This rich family adopt Henn because he is the same age as their daughter. When the Japanese came and occupied their land, they are separated for so many years. It is a journey for Henn to look for this young girl. Very warm read. The next book is A Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. I gave this book 3 stars. I enjoy reading this in a sitting on a Monday morning without Monday blues. I am really curious, what does A Journey to the Center of the Earth looks like? And this feels like so real. This is a great illustrated classics. They obviously have the illustration. I am so excited to get into the journey. It follows Harry, who joined Professor Hartwig, his uncle, his fiancé uncle, I cannot remember, and their Icelandic guide named Hans in their daring quest down a volcano and toward the center of the earth. With the help of the guide, obviously they survived, but there's a lot of unthinkable, unimaginable things that happen in the center of the earth. Like they still have a massive elephant, a gigantic human. The story is very, very exciting. The next book is Longing for God's Closeness by Aisha Shakira. I am surprised they published this book in green color because her previous book, which is Being a Quran Tech Girl and Talk to Allah, is in pink. She loves pink. Like obviously if you followed her on Instagram, she loves pink and she is such a sweet person. Why do I like longing for God's closeness? This is not a how-to's book. It's not a guidebook. When I'm learning through reading, I love reading books that when the author has experienced the exact same thing as me. In this case, Aisha is struggling with her salah. She wants to perfect the salah. She wants to salah 5 times a day, but it is such a struggle. It is easy to take care of our aura fast in Ramadan, but why is it so hard to be consistent in doing salah? That's why I really love this book, because I feel like I am not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of quotes actually. I just don't know which one I want to share with you. Here's my notes. We struggle differently. Some people can do other ibadah like fasting, covering the aura easily, but salah is one of the ibadah they find definite struggle to comply, whilst other people are the opposite. We cherry-picked the ibadah according to what we liked the most and thought it was just enough to be a person with a good heart. What's a good heart if we're not practicing our religion truthfully? Sangat menginspirasikan. Okay, korang kena baca.
I have been talking for like an hour and I started to lose my voice.
Next book is Train to Al-Aqsa and Ramadan in Space. So, Ramadan in Space is written by Dr. Wendy Booth, illustrated by Hannah Hanifa Ishwari, and Train to Al-Aqsa, an educational journey, written by Kamal Ali and Dr. Wendy Booth, illustrated by Charis Badiul Chusna. I cannot stress enough that both of these books are important reads for children. My 7 years old is a curious one. There are so many things when it comes to space. He once asked me, how does one pray in spaceship? How do we know when to pray? And what about spending Ramadan in space? So Hamza and Maria went to the space and spent the rest of their Ramadan in space. They pray and they fast. It is the best basic knowledge that you can give to your children to make them understand. This is very important. If you guys get into this point of my video, I hope you guys screenshot or screen record this video, because all proceeds of this book go to charity, mainly to go to the Palestinian children in supporting their education and welfare. So if you guys cannot do much, you can at least tell people to go buy this book, to read it. Personally, I think this is a very important read, because Muslim kids needs to learn about Al-Aqsa and the importance, the significance to Muslims. The main characters are Hamza and Maryam. They went to the Palestine. So throughout this book, we got to know the attire that the local people are wearing, their local food and their traditions. I really hope that someday Palestine will be winning. We Muslims from all over the world can finally step off foot in Palestine. Inshallah, we will get to that day. This really gives me hope to bring my child to Palestine and learn so many things. Al-Aqsa Sanctuary, about the night of Al-Isra Al-Mi'raj. Please help to spread the words around. Okay, thank you my Salahmet UK for sending me these books. The next book is Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. A missing girl, a guilty man, a deadly secret. So it follows Fire Maddox, a girl who has been suffering from sexual harassment from a boy since she was a kid that haunts her for years. Her uncle set her up for a therapy, a children's psychologist who's supposed to heal her but not. Instead, she begins to get to know about his family, private lives, and learn all about his dark secrets. On the other hand is Owen Pick, an educator who's quite pathetic when it comes to relationship with women. He is 33 and yet to have a serious relationship with any woman, even still living with his aunt. He leads quite a dull and boring life. Nobody really wants to befriend him. The neighbors doesn't want to get to know him until the disappearance of Sophia Maddox, and they found her belongings, her possessions, outside Owen's window. Prior to that, like the cherry on top, he got suspended from work because he was accused of sexually harassing the students in a party that he did not want to attend in the first place. Dia adalah kambing hitam. Kesian sangat. This book is really thrilling. I really appreciate the suspense, but it lacks of something which I cannot even describe. You know, dia punya tu tak ada. The ending is very satisfying. This is my very first book by Lisa Joelle, and I'm looking forward to read more of her books. The next book is the reverse coloring book by Kendra Norton, but this is not a real book. It's a coloring book. What is a reverse coloring book? This is my very first reverse coloring book. It has the colors, but it doesn't have lines, so you can use your imagination to make it as anything you like. So if you're not sure where to start, it has this. There are no rules at all. You can use any pen or marker, color pencils. This is one of my greatest work. You can tear it like this. Okay, here's this one. Look at that. I'm basically an artist. It helps me with my anxiety issues. It helps me to calm down. Like, I would highly suggest this if you guys are in a great distress, to wind down. Get yourself this one. Love yourself. A therapy, okay? I think all therapists or psychologists or psychiatrists need to provide this book. The next book is The Sleeping Beauty by Ursula Jones and Paula Escobar. I gave this 5 stars, and let me tell you guys, why do you need to get this book? It is because this is Sharia compliance. For all Muslim parents, if you guys want your children to read The Sleeping Beauty, go get this version, because no mouth kissing is involved. To wake the princess up, the prince kissed her pricked finger instead of the mouth, and they live happily ever after. Great ending. And I love the diversity. It's not a whitewash book, so go get this version. At last, the last book is There's a Ghost in This House by Oliver Jeffers. I gave this 5 stars. There's no reason for me to give it any less than that, because I was having the best time of my life with my son, giggling while reading this book. Why did I say giggling? It's a horror ghost book. This is a very unique and original idea to make a book. Okay, let me peel off the jacket. Ta-da! Look at that. They're pretty. It's pretty. Okay, without any doubt, it is pretty. What's the best thing about this book? Why is it different from any other books? Let me walk you through some of the pages. Hello, come in. Please come in. This is our main character.
The central hall plan, which provided ample circulation, probably reached the peak of achievement in the superb hallways of this remarkable house built in 1760.
And welcome. I haven't had visitors for quite a while. Can you see the ghost? You cannot see the ghost because you need to bring this over here. Only then you can see the little ghost by the stairs. Right? That's so cute. When you remove this, now you see it, now you don't. So we had a great time chasing after this ghost, or counting this ghost together. It is a very enjoyable read. If you guys celebrate Halloween, you would probably really love this one. It is a great gift for those who celebrate. I guess that's all for today's video. Please share with me how many books have you read in November, or what are your favorite reads, or is there any books from my November wrap up that you want to read. And please subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Thumbs up and leave a comment. Say hi maybe. I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Assalamualaikum. So actually this book came with this tote bag.
Begins to look a lot like Christmas everywhere I go.